Okay, good. Hi, Cory. Please give us your name and date of birth and some basic information about you.
Yeah, so I'm Cory Beckman, formerly Cory Lights. I was born in 1985 here in Milwaukie, on the property that Milwaukie Floral sits on, 5 acres there. I went to Milwaukie Elementary, Rao Junior High, and Milwaukie High. Graduated from Milwaukie High class of 2003.
Nice. You lived on the property, so there's houses on your property too. We only see the...
You only see the front part. Yes, it's a sloping down property towards the Kellogg Creek. So you see the business in the front, and in the back there are 3 homes that are the original homes on the homestead. So at any point in time, someone in my family was a tenant or occupied one of those 3 homes, and everybody shuffled through the mix from small duplex to the big house.
Nice. Okay, and so you said your business. Tell us about Milwaukie Floral.
So Milwaukie Floral in 2003 will be 88 years old. It will be what I think is the oldest business in Milwaukie still operating. It is located, like I said, on Lake Road on 5 acres of land. It's a full service floral shop and nursery and event space and kind of a community hub.
Okay, and so what generation first moved to Milwaukie?
So the first generation of my family to come here would have been my great-grandfather, and that would have been Eugene Lights Sr. and his wife Rosa, and they came here and purchased the property in 1935 and started operating a what was then called Lakewood Greenhouses. Lakewood Greenhouses was originally opened in 1903, and so from 1903 to 1935 they grew vegetables and transported them into downtown Portland via the trolley, on the trolley trail.
Oh, wow.
And instead of operating out of what we operate the front, which is Lake Road, they operated on the creek side. So they would transfer from our side of the creek across Kellogg Creek onto the trolley and down into downtown Portland. And so when my grandfather purchased the property for $5,000, 5 acres for $5,000 in 1934, his family all thought he was nuts. And at that point, Lakewood Greenhouses was fairly defunct and needed a lot of TLC. And so they got there with their 4 children and put them all to work, and 4 children at the time, and put them all to work and started what then transferred into Eugene F. and Sons wholesale nursery. And that would have been 1934, and then from there it just started growing and growing and growing and transferred into Milwaukie Floral over the years.
Sure. Yeah. And so it was originally run by your great-grandfather?
Originally run by my great-grandfather, and then they had 5 children, and their firstborn was my grandfather Eugene Jr., and he in 1948 married my grandmother Donna Mae Johnson, and she is the force that is behind Milwaukie Floral as a floral shop. So they had the full sale or the wholesale greenhouse operations where they grew bedding plants, bulbs, and poinsettias were their main crops. And then after Jean and Donna got married in 48, she started the retail side of the floral shop. Now there was a tiny little, I don't know how many square feet, but it's tiny, small building on the corner of 33rd and Lake Road, and it was during the Depression. It was rented out to different families as a residence. She turned it into a retail floral shop that was open fairly just seasonally in the beginning, and from probably 1950 to 1964 she operated it and started to build the floral side of the business. So
doing weddings.
Yeah, with your everyday floral, and my grandpa was a delivery driver, and they just hustled and hustled and hustled. And in 1964, they built the current building that we operate out of today, which is the 2-story floral shop and nursery building.
It's great in there. And then your dad took it over?
My dad has always been, so Jean and Donna had 5 children, and they all, over the years, have had many different roles within the business. Jean and Donna really wanted everyone to be a part of it and everybody to live on the property and lots of family around. So in the 1990s, my dad took a more prominent role as president, and then he is still president till this day in 2022, but I think this will be done in 23. And then I started working there in high school. And so 2000s era, and in 2009 started taking a managerial role, and then today, 2023, I'm vice president.
And pretty much running it.
And yeah, running the everyday operations.
Right, because I don't see your dad around anymore.
Well, he's busy running his tree company.
Okay, all right. And so your great-grandparents came here from, because they actually came over earlier, from where?
So Eugene and Rosa were both born in Germany, and they came here Jean came here in 1928, I believe, and he immigrated and came through and originally came into the Spokane area. But we have the documentation of his immigration papers, and his occupation on the immigration papers states florist, which we found just recently, and is a very cool tie back to the whole history of the business and the property. So
Sure.
He came here from Germany knowing that's what he wanted to do.
Isn't that great? I still don't know what I want to do. So,
can I ask you a question? How did they come across the United States? Did they come by wagon train, or did they come around the Horn, or did they come by train?
I'm not 100% sure. I know it wasn't wagon train, but most likely it was train.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, so your grandparents had 5 kids, or rather your great-grandparents had 5 kids.
Actually, they had 6 children, sorry.
Oh.
6 children, and then my grandparents had 5 children.
Oh, so you're going down slowly.
Yeah. Yes. And I had 0.
And so their life was not too hard, but they worked hard.
They're super hard workers. I mean, to anyone in the farming community knows that it's a really, really hard job. And then anyone who runs a small business knows that it's a 24-hour-a-day job. You never quit. And also, if you have your business on the same property that you live, you never are closed, right? You're always available. And so Jean and Donna basically, they lived and breathed Milwaukie Floral, and they instilled that work ethic into their son Doug, who lives and breathes work all the time, and I think I got a little bit of that too.
Yeah. Well, if I remember right, your dad Doug also used to anyway hunt bear with bow and arrow.
He does. He is a very.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
Yes, a very avid hunter. Very avid hunter. Yes.
Still?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No. This is interesting stuff. But you said bear?
Bear with a bow and arrow.
Yes. Yeah.
But he hunted for food, like deer or an elk or...
Yes. Yeah. Kind of your regular old sportsman, you know. Yeah.
Bear.
Yes.
Still, I think that's a little ballsy.
It is, for sure. Yeah.
Excuse me. So your life in Milwaukie.
So
What's some of your best memories, or some of your greatest memories, or?
So my highlights, so think about like 5 acres in the heart of Milwaukie, as a kid getting to grow up with free reign, and we had an amazing childhood. Got to just run around that piece of property and do whatever we wanted. It was fabulous. My sister and I lived on the property our whole lives, and then we had cousins and as neighbors and other neighbors that all friends at very similar age to us. So we had a really fun pack of kids to run around with. And then over the years, I would say my most funnest memory, it was a yearly memory. It was better than Christmas. It was the Milwaukie Festival Days parade. My sister and I were just obsessed with that day. My grandma was an amazing float builder, and she would build these big elaborate floats from when we were just really little. We got to be on these floats all the time. And the parade route went right in front of Milwaukie Floral because it started at Rao Junior High. So it was a great place for all of our family to meet and fill the front parking lot and have all the nephews and nieces and kiddos and grandkids on the float. And we'd always have a big old bag of Milwaukie popcorn and Candyland popcorn and serve drinks and have a big old spread for all the family to come and watch their kids drive by on the float. So that was really, really fun for us. And then I would say my second best memory, we fast forward quite a few years. In 2018, I got married at the flower shop. When my husband and I were thinking about where we were going to get married, we went to a handful of venues around town. And he, I think, always knew that I was kind of had that in the back of my brain, and finally after we went to one, he was like, "You just want to have it at the flower shop." And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of do." And he's like, "You know it's going to be a lot of work, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, but we can do it." And we did, and it was the most memorable day ever. And we got to invite back family who hadn't been there in a long time and filled the greenhouse with over 200 guests and danced the night away. So
wonderful. Is he from Milwaukie also, or
he's from Westland.
Westland? Oh my God, West Side.
He's a West Sider. Yeah. So
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about the umbrella parade? Did you and your sister take part in that, or is that a newer thing?
We never were in the umbrella parade. Actually, I would have probably been in. I love parades, so we would have been in it, but I don't know why. I don't know if we knew about it or what.
Just didn't need it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, I'm curious. You were talking about a memory earlier where you celebrated somebody's 50th anniversary.
Oh yes, it was. So my grandparents celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. We decided to, and this goes back to the Milwaukie the Milwaukie Days parade. So we had kind of an ambush float makeover where we built a float in the flower shop parking lot.
Do you need to get that, or
no? Listen to me on battery. Sorry.
Okay.
So anyways, we had this ambush float where we built the float in the Milwaukie Floral parking lot, and my grandma was involved, and she made it beautiful like she normally does. We drove it down in the morning and entered it in the parade at Rao Junior High, and then proceeded to completely dismantle the float in the parking lot and redo it and turn it into a wedding chapel or a wedding scene with a beautiful floral arbor. And as we slowly progressed down Lake Road and started to approach Milwaukie Floral, we stopped the parade. Sorry, Siri.
It's okay.
Jean and Donna were inside the flower shop, and their best man and matron of honor were there and went in and grabbed them and threw on a top hat on Eugene and a wedding gown made of skirt on Donna, and they renewed their vows in the parade on the route in front of the flower shop. And then rode the rest of the way down the parade route into downtown Milwaukie with all the grandkids in tow. And it was a very, very, very memorable event, and they were picked up in a horse-drawn carriage in downtown Milwaukie and then paraded again throughout the city, back up Lake Road to Milwaukie Floral. Yeah.
Great.
A complete surprise.
A complete surprise. They had no idea. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you were amongst all the farms when you were growing up.
Yes.
Was there still a lot of farms there?
Yeah, so there was still the Cheragina farm, and then the Christmas tree farm, and And then ours, I think between those 3 properties, I think there's over 40 acres of farmland within less than a half a mile of our piece of property. Yeah.
So it's other kids that were growing up pretty much wild on their own property.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's very interesting because it's not. It's very often that somebody comes into the flower shop and says, "Oh man, I haven't been in here for a really long time. I was a insert first job here. I was a delivery driver when I was 16, or I was my first job was watering in the greenhouse." And oh man, and it's always a really like joyful experience. I think people really enjoyed being there on the property, and some of the menial task jobs that you would have as a first job were some of the funnest.
Sure.
You could get in a water fight in the greenhouse in the heat of the summer, and so, yeah.
That's wonderful. Any people that stand out, Milwaukee citizens that stand out as you were growing up?
Oh my goodness. Milwaukee citizens that stand out.
Maybe 80s. Trying to think who would be around. I wasn't here in the 80s.
Oh my.
Not that you can think
Not
of.
that I can think of. I will say that there is a really cool connection for us in the floral industry. Mary Jean, who owned Mary Jean Blunt, who owned Mary Jean's Flowers. She worked for my grandparents in her 20s, and started there, and that's where she got her floral bug. And so she started working for my grandfather as a delivery driver, and then worked for them for a year or just a little over that, and then that's transpired into her career as owning her own floral shop there on Oakfield.
Oh, that's a wonderful story.
Yeah.
She was also in Rotary and hosted many exchange students.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wonderful
And we've
woman.
had her since retiring 5 years ago. She has then come back in full circle and helped us out for an extra hand for Mother's Day.
Oh,
That's great.
Yeah.
If you see her again, tell her hello.
Yes.
Anything else you want to wrap up with?
Just that we really enjoy being a part of the community there. Milwaukie Floral is it's a big animal there. It's a fun job to have. It's an amazing place to work. We have a really great crew. Well, it's a tight crew, but it's a really, really great crew, and we just really love being where we are. So.
Well, wonderful. People love having you there. So this is going to be for Milwaukee's 120th anniversary.
That's exciting.
So maybe you want to say happy birthday to Milwaukee.
Happy birthday, Milwaukee. You're looking good.
All right. Thank you. I think that's very good.